Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what human design's been like for me with my relationships. Because we all have relationships, whether they're intimate, familial, or, coworkers, family, friends, whatever. Um, yeah, I can definitely say that it was a good thing I did not come into the knowledge or awareness of human design when I started waking up, because I wouldn't have been ready for it. And I don't feel like my spouse would have been ready for it at the time either, because it is totally different. I had a lot of shit I had to go through anyways, a lot of garbage I needed to get rid of. And I was using astrology to help me get back to who I am. But when you when you're living as yourself, as I found in hindsight, or found out later through human design, that I was living as myself as young child, whenever I was younger, growing up. But when you're very individual, which I am, it's really hard for the tribe, which I was raised by, individual and tribal, I should say. It's hard for them to really understand. The individual, my mom, of course, was more understanding. It was a little harder for my dad to understand at times, being a tribal person, and also factors with his past and other stuff. Nothing major, but I mean, I know those were factors as well. So, yeah, fast forward from 2013 to 2017, I first learned about human design, and my husband wasn't interested in it at all. My dad was kind of curious, so I did a reading for him and a couple friends. But I really got into it in 2018 is when I really started diving into human design. And it was like in a course of 19 months from the beginning of that time of me really delving into human design. And this year, at the end of April, it was like I went through 19 years of, not saying that I personally feel like I've gone through 19 years of living my design. That is definitely not what I'm saying here. But it's as if I had a 19-year course in 19 months. And then that when we come out of that, it's like what somebody had mentioned in the 7-year cycle of human design, that seventh year, it's like you kind of transcend your chart, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I can walk away. I'm not attached to it anymore, and I can, leave it. And that's what happened to me. It was really wild. I just kind of, I posted something. I have several human design groups, and this has been my focus. And I had posted something one day, and the next morning I woke up and I could walk away from it all and be okay with it. And I thought, whoa, I wouldn't have been able to do that just a year ago. I would have wanted to be in the limelight. I would have wanted, if I were to walk away from something like that, to get something back from it. But at that morning, at the end of April, man, I was just like, yeah, I could walk away from it all and give it all away and not even think twice about it, because that's just what it was. So anyways, with the relationship thing, my husband and I were talking about this morning, and it's really awesome in that I really love focusing on the circuitry, because it really helps to understand people in general, yourself and others. And one of the things that I've noticed in our life, especially with my husband and I, is that we've been able to allow each other to be who we are without, trying to change the other person. And my husband's not really into human design. And in the beginning, it really drove him nuts, because I was always parroting everybody else. Well, that's not who I am. Actually, for me, it's about not parroting, but taking on the experiment and experiencing what I experience personally, and it filters through me personally, and then sharing that. It's my unique way, and I, as an individual, I define things the way that I see them, and the way that they're being filtered through my experience, and then I share it in that way. So when I talk to other people sometimes, and a lot of times their significant other also don't want to hear it. And what I'm finding is that maybe, and this may be correct for you guys as well, but for me, I know why. My husband, he happens to have the 14 2 channel, which channel of direction, and he's always tried pointing me back to myself every time, like during the time that I've been awakening since the end of 2013, because I didn't have my own experience yet. I was parroting other people, and I would think, oh, this is great, I found it, because of course I'm trying to find the mystery, the known within the unknown. That was before human design. I would come to him and say, well, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said that, and da-da-da-da-da. What I realized later is that the reason why he would do this and like point me back to me is because he knew I already had it within myself. He knew that I know, or I have my own inner wisdom. And so after parroting and after really getting into what Ra said and what so-and-so said and any of the other teachers, it doesn't matter who it was, and how it's come out through their experience because of what they've experienced. When I started really doing it from my own space and my own experience, I started flowering, number one, but he also started being more receptive. And so when I see the mechanics and I'm able to express that and then express my experience of those mechanics, it does make it a lot better. So my husband is a pure generator. And he also has a channel of conviction. He has a channel of transformation. So of course, he's got some tribal. And then he's got that, channel of the beat and direction. And he's also got the channel of discovery. So he's got some collective in him, which is cool. And then him and I together electromagnetically all the way up the experiential way. It's like so crazy. And we're coming out of an experience that we've had for the last 12, 13 years that we've been reflecting on. And we're stepping into a new experience, which is so cool to be able to see that from the mechanics. And so when I express stuff in the way that's more personal, and our experience of these mechanics, he's more open to it. And so just recently he's decided to start his own business and is moving forward in that. And it's really funny because he's just thankful that I'm able to just let go of feeling like I have to control how things go and whatnot, because and I tell him, I said, this is why I'm so thankful for human design, because knowing human design, I'm able to see another person's mechanics and then be able to allow them to be who they are. And when I'm sharing or answering or replying to people about, a question that they may have had or a response to something, I'm able to do that based on their own energy, what their blueprint shows, and not just from my experience. Okay, well, this is my experience, but you have this, somebody who has more tribal, I can share from that aspect because I grew up with a tribal person. And so being able to tap into these different circuitries and see how they work and how they function and how they support or share or mutate, it's just really, really awesome. And I'm so thankful for that, because it helps us to understand why maybe somebody doesn't see from our view, or why maybe somebody isn't out there supporting everybody, or isn't out there sharing, or isn't out there mutating. There's reasons for these. And then whenever you look at the specific channels within that and how the mechanics of that channel plays out, and then what their experience is, just being able to share from that is more empowering. It is way more empowering than just going, just do it. If I have my heart defined, I have willpower, and I think everybody else should have that. And I'm out there going, you should just do it. You'd be able to quit that smoking or whatever it is. And I don't mean like I'm not a health freak, because I smoke myself. I may not smoke very much, but I still enjoy a cigarette at least once a day. So yeah, just to be able to see where, like when the mind gets crazy, my husband's got a crazy mind, but his is fully open. I could see why, he can think from all the different ways of the gates that are there that are open. So when he's connecting with somebody else who has a defined mind, he can connect with them no matter what gate they have, because his is all open. And so it's able to connect. Whereas me, I only have one gate. That's it. In the mind, hanging off. It's not defined. And it's just so neat to be able to see that. And of course, mine is on the design side, which I'm going to be talking about in another video. But on the design side, this is our inheritance. And, this is the inside. This is where we really want to lean into. But when there's issues there, because there's a lot of unconsciousness there from past stuff, then we can heal that. We have the opportunity to heal those things. I gotta drink water. Anyways, it's just really neat. And I know a lot of people have questions about, how human design works within a relationship and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people are in relationships that, the other person isn't into this stuff. And that's okay, because really it's an individual way. You can at least learn who you are and what's consistent within you and where you can gain wisdom and support from others. You can also learn how to work around or within the dynamics of your relationships by having those people's charts and knowing what their energy is. And then those that are no longer going to fit, because maybe you're trying too much to fit in with them, or vice versa. If you can't stop it, sometimes we have to either cut relationships altogether or just, know that we're not going to be in the midst of that person all the time, or those people all the time, or that tribe all the time, because it may not be correct for us. But there's nothing like being able to know who it is that you really are, and who it is that your mind thinks that you are, and being able to work the two together, that design, the body side, the red in the human design chart, and the mind, and what's called the personality in human design, the black stuff in the chart. That's why they come together. That's why there's the type and strategy and inner authority to help those two to work together, because for a lot of people, they're in such dissonance that it might be a lot harder for them to work together. But then the beauty of it is when you're able to work with both energies in a satisfying way, in a way that works for you, then you can relax more into the body, into the inside, and allow the expression of what's wanting to come out and how the body wants to use the mind or the personality to express out. Like for me, my mind is that of a manifesting generator. So of course, my body is that of a projector, and it's all collective, and it can share through as a fifth line body. My voice in my third line mind, it can share those experiences in a way that may be helpful and practical, to universalize it, and through the voice be able to maybe activate others to get back into who they are, their beingness. So anyways, I guess that's it, and I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.